The idea of conditioning a whole generation through schooling and media often relates to the influence that educational systems and media content can have on shaping individuals' beliefs, values, and behaviors. This concept is rooted in the recognition that both formal education and media play significant roles in shaping social norms and individual perspectives. Here are some aspects to consider. Schooling. It is noteworthy that people of Global South, with special reference to countries of South Asia, have developed nauseating propensity to slavishly imitate everything that belongs to Anglo-American West, including their skin color, physical appearance, dress, food, lifestyle, language, etc. At the same time, people are conditioned to jibe overtly or covertly everything indigenous. It is by no means an accident that in the matrimonial circles of South Asian countries, advertisements are explicit in seeking convent-educated fair-skinned bride, and skin-lightening creams are aggressively advertised for marketing with all legal and political protections. Widespread infusion of aforesaid means are most definitely not isolated incidents, but well-designed and planned projects of mass conditioning. But conditioning for what? To mentally subjugate the entire human resources of a given nation so that, as reflex, they accept inferiority of self and superiority of others. No spatial inquiry is needed to understand why South Asian countries are littered with English medium schools where in-campus conversation in native language is penalized. These are typical examples of how schooling is being used to delink Indians from their source, psychologically condition younger generation to accept Western supremacy and jibe everything indigenous. Curriculum and values. The curriculum taught in schools can influence students' worldview. The selection of subjects, textbooks, and teaching methods can impact how students perceive various topics, cultures, and historical events. Curriculum of schools in South Asian countries are designed to strip children from their indigenous language, literature, history, tradition, and culture. In other words, schooling is designed to delink children from their origin. This trend increased dramatically during the post-colonial period. Education policy of South Asian countries encourage Anglo-American educational institutions to set up business in South Asian countries that are affordable to the 2 to 5% Anglophone elites. Strategy seems to employ these Anglophone elites to rule over and keep control over the remaining population so that natural resources and economy of the country remain under the control of Anglo-American West. This is exactly the sociopolitical scenario of the world today. Socialization. Anglophone education is accessible to a fraction of the population that are relatively affluent. Over the last 75 years, since 1947, about 3 to 5% population of South Asian countries have acquired the ability to express thoughts in English. This minority are the ruling elites and are mentally conditioned to protect the interest of Anglo-American West. Schools are not only places for academic learning, but also serve as environments for socialization. Peer interactions, teacher student relationships, and school culture contribute to shaping individuals' social attitudes and behaviors. Anglophone Indians are, by design, more and more isolated from the indigenous population. This led to the concept of differential nomenclature. India of the affluent ruling class, who are Anglophones, and Bharat, where indigenous population thrive in abject poverty and oppression. Critical thinking, the education system designed to lift the quality of the human resources of a given nation, can either encourage or discourage critical thinking. A curriculum that promotes critical analysis and independent thought can lead to a more questioning and informed generation. Unlike South Asian countries, education system of all Anglo-American Western countries is designed to provoke critical thinking. The single most important component of nation building is its human resources. All developed countries are extremely mindful of maintaining high standard of their human resource through superior healthcare and indigenous high quality schooling, for which the whole nation is responsible. It must be emphasized here that countries like China, Russia, Iran, Japan, Cuba, Korea have designed their education system to ensure high quality human resource of their respective nations. Any factor that is potentially or directly impair schooling is of national concern, since schooling may affect quality of human resources. This explains why, in sharp contrast to countries of South Asia, Italy, France, Scandinavia is extremely critical about liberal influx of foreign words in their native language. Just recently, Italian government has imposed heavy penalty for use of English words in their native language. This also explains why Anglo-American West is so overzealous in infusing English language in countries like China, Russia, and East Europe. Media, media content. The media, including television, movies, social media, and news outlets, can shape public opinion. The portrayal of certain groups, events, and issues can influence how individuals perceive the world around them. Impact and influence of media is linked to the number of its subscribers and viewers, which in turn is largely controlled by money power. Influential media often is employed to falsify facts. Each field of education and training is subjected to massive falsification, be it history, economics, sociology, political science, or medicine. Falsifications are legitimized through media conditioning of consumers. The expression freedom of press is a license for the media to aggressively publicize controversial and harmful facts and make it acceptable to the people. Information harmful to the public is often freely promoted by media to maximize profit for media patrons. Massive infiltration of Western media throughout India coincides with the westernization of Indian ruling class, political subservience to the collective West, massive influx of Western multinational corporations are the combined effect effects induced through schooling and media. This transformation explains why Western media houses trumpet India as the largest democracy, complete with freedom of press. Whereas China and Russia are cursed because they, being more conscious of national interest, have to be vigilant about Western media infiltration that is dedicated to promoting the interest of Western multinational corporations. Currently, the world is seeing how media manipulation has turned Russia as the aggressor of Ukraine and Hamas as the villain in the conflict with Israel. Numerous examples are freely available in support of this observation. Massive propaganda in favor of COVID vaccination or war against terror are cases in point. Advertising. Advertisements play a role in shaping consumer behavior and societal norms. They can contribute to the creation of certain desires, values, and expectations within a population. A glimpse at the quality of advertisement in India clearly shows the message being transmitted. Matrimonial advertisements, whether in English, in vernacular, looking for convent-educated fair-skinned bride. TV commercials or movies distinctly project the image of Indians as fair-skinned, whereas villains, menials, petty criminals, and beggars are dark-skinned. Aggressive and derogatory commercials of skin-lightening creams are rampant in the mass media. No objections or restrictions are even discussed, let alone imposed on such commercials. This situation reflects how national attitude is being shaped in favor of collective West, whose features and values are being made acceptable at the expense of indigenous culture, values, and tradition. Cultural influence. Media has a significant impact on popular culture. Trends, fashions, and language often originate or gain popularity through media channels, influencing the way individuals express themselves and interact with society. This explains why English, the language of 5% of the population, is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient throughout the South Asian countries. The remaining 95% are simply marginalized and forced into the experience of a stranger in their own country. This state of affairs is the resultant of conditioning through schooling and media. Purpose of this presentation is to emphasize that an entire generation of minority elites in India and in most of the South Asian and African countries have been conditioned through schooling and media to delink themselves from their country of origin. These minority elites are the vanguard who ensure the nature of imitation schooling and so-called freedom of press that are designed and used to manipulate public opinion in favor of Anglo-American control over the natural and human resources of their respective countries. Any attempt by the political leadership of any country to deflect itself towards self-determination instantly triggers first political tension, followed by demonization, followed by armed conflict. The role of schooling, media, and advertisements are supreme in each of these steps. It is tempting to ask why Israel and its patrons don't adopt conditioning through schooling, media, and advertisements to tame Russia and Palestine. India and other Anglo-French countries, except Vietnam, are effectively made subservient to their colonial masters through the influence of schooling and media. Instead of missiles and drones, all that is needed are English medium schooling, Anglo-American print and electronic media, and a personification of a leader like Nehru or Modi. Is the appointment of Mahmoud Abbas being a step in that direction? Time will tell. If you like what you see and hear, please subscribe and ring the bell.